So, we're going to talk about Tolkien, show.
Oh,
James didn't watch it, I did, so I guess I'm going to talk about it. And he's going to talk about Toni Morrison, The Pieces I Am. Tolkien, it was boring. And honestly, I remember saying to somebody once, like, it was when the Lord of the Rings were all big. And I said to them something like, yeah, it's okay, but I mean, he's such a racist or something like that. And they didn't see it. They didn't see.
once you pointed out the details.
No, I mean, it's. Well, would you like to point out some of the details?
Well,
To
I
why-
mean, you got the bad black guys on elephants, the orcs. I think if you look in Hebrew, it's some sort of Hebrew name for worker or something like that. They're commie Jews. So you look at where this dude comes from, South African German ancestry. I suspect his name is Tolkien, which is Toll, and then the Keen would be Keen, Ku with the two dots over it, HM. So you kind of almost said Keen. And what that means is crazy keen. The keen is cognate with our word keen, right?
Do you like this jacket? I just
Yeah, I
bought it.
like it pretty good.
I paid 50 cents for it.
Yeah, so I'm not saying his ancestry is my reason for saying he's a racist. You look at the stuff that he's writing,
That he was
about,
writing.
who the bad guys
Yeah.
are and stuff like that, and it looks very suspicious to me. And then you start checking his background, and then you say, otherwise it's just stereotyping. You can stereotype Germans, you can stereotype South Africans. You don't want to do it. What you want to do is actually look at what they do, what they say, and then maybe you can go back and look at their ancestry and stuff like that, their background, and so on and so forth, and then it starts to come a little bit clearer. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I tried reading. I don't think I even got to my mandatory 10 pages of stuff that I find hard to read. Margaret Atwood, I don't know how many of her novels I've started. And,
I find it easy to go through.
Well, there you go. I don't care for it.
I mean, they're all pretty much the same story.
There we go.
Just have to.
And not terribly
Oh,
good
okay,
story.
that's
So
not-
yeah,
that's
it's
not true.
kind of like Kurt Vonnegut.
They're all the same character. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
She's not good with character
You
development.
you remember that study someone did of novelists? They found out they were. I don't know how well they picked their sample out, but and they might have had an axe to grind. But their finding was that the novelists were less capable than the average person at, like figuring people's motives out. And I thought you'd heard about it.
No.
Didn't make as big an impression on you, I guess. And maybe I'm just imagining it here, but well, I was chuckling about it. It's like artists are supposed to see reality. Yeah,
We
right.
only had one
Like fun.
long English cucumber to share, so
Oh, yeah.
doesn't
There we
provide a
go.
lot of juice.
Okay.
But I gave you a full glass of
Yeah.
bell pepper juice.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, speaking of.
Toni Morrison.
Yeah, okay. Won the Nobel Prize, and there were all sorts of people saying it was tokenism and stuff like that. I haven't read her stuff. I'm hesitant to, because I'm worried that she's about as much of an achiever as, let's say, Michelle Obama or something like that. But we'll see. I hope it's not tokenism.
Oh, and I got the skirt for free
Yeah, this is good.
at the Mormon clothes
That's
giveaway
awesome.
that
It's
was
very
just
nice
before
color.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, nice color.
Yeah.
But she did at least get a master's and maybe a PhD. She did some grad work. She did some teaching at Howard College, which was a black institution.
Mm-hmm.
But basically her work after that was at Ivy League stuff. So she did grad work at Cornell. So she's not a flunky by any means. I just hope it wasn't tokenism. The people that she was hanging with in the 70s don't impress me, like Angela Davis, who was a Black Panther, Muhammad Ali, who was black Muslim. He kind of gave up on it, but he never, from what I can tell, he valued his life. He never actually criticized them. Malcolm X criticized them, and he didn't last too long after doing that. Of course, if you hear fake left-wingers talking about it, that was carried out by, they'll say, oh, look at all the people that were wiped out by right-wingers. Well, yeah, the black Muslims are right-wingers, but they're not the stereotypical right-wingers. And, like Robert Kennedy was carried out by ethnic right-wingers. He was whacked by I'm pretty convinced now he was whacked by the mafia. And John F. Kennedy was the main perpetrators of that crime, were not the CIA. There were some CIA elements involved at quite a low level, but the cover-up is a different matter. But it was mainly the mafia. It's in the way the mafia operates. So, it's kind of politically incorrect to point out the ethnicity of this sort of stuff. Yeah, they're right-wingers, but it's mafia, it's Italian stuff, immigrants, and then black Muslims. Okay. So all you people that were crying about, the 60s were tough, but I don't know about James Earl Ray. Okay, there was one right-wing assassination.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about this macrame pattern book. It came from Raymond Public Library, and I really enjoyed it. It was excellent. Now, if I were a mother of a teenage girl, or a girl around 10 years old, I would definitely borrow this out of the public library and work on these patterns with my daughter, because they show all sorts of things. Not only how to braid your hair nicely on page 30, different types of braids, which, you can use it for making little friendship bracelets too, but also the square knot, which is must know for making friendship bracelets, on page 31, and the basic monkey fist knot, and then across the page you can see another version, and those are must needed for making, and so that's on page 50, for making different friendship bracelets. And if you want your daughter to be really popular, there are some amazing patterns in here, and everyone will want to be your daughter's friend, because these patterns would make awesome friendship bracelets. So good. There's even how to do tapestry sort of things, like I'll just hold it up so you can see designs like that, right? Very nice. And, they show you some made friendship bracelets. There's some. And, and some different things that you can make. But, really, you're going to be making friendship bracelets with your daughter. Awesome! So I would definitely recommend Macrame Pattern Book. So good. And I'm going to finish this little talk by talking about Seasons, Desert Sketches by Ellen Malloy. I read this morning. It did not take me long. It is not thick. It came from Crow's Nest Pass Municipal Library, and I wonder if this person is Mormon, because it's from, she was from Utah, and but anyway, whatever. Thank you, Mormons, for my beautiful skirt. And if Ellen Malloy was Mormon, well, she did a great job on this. I really enjoyed this book very, very much. And I'll just read a little bit, one short story I liked in particular. And I think it's fitting, sort of, given election time, I don't know. And how I've been talking about yellows and their propaganda and stuff like that. So, yellows being the personality type, I'm not making racist comments or anything. I don't do that. So I've wondered when I've been putting reds and yellows talking about if that's what's getting, if the
I sure hope
Russians are looking at my site or something and thinking, oh, she's talking about the reds.
Just a personality type.
Anyway, so I'm talking now. I'm going to read a little bit from a short story called California, and it starts on page 9 of this book. Californians dine by a sacred creed that says eat fresh foods produced locally. We don't shop at supermarkets, they sniff, we forage. And it's off to buy fetal zucchini from Buddhists, oysters shucked by the Holy Ghost, olives cured in the spittle of Himalayan puppies. Does anyone in the Golden State go hungry? And then I'm going to shoot past to the page 10. It's coming near the end of the story. Today's gourmet snobbery bears a curious irony. Pâté and meat pies, once the fare of peasants, now melt the palates of the affluent, who scorn spam and pre-whipped substances made with the oil-based flavors we fought Iraq for. The food elite have adopted the cuisine of the poor, but they have left the poor with the ketchup bottle. To irony, add the illusion that we can hunt and gather, that we can live off the land and eat food close to the source. Not too many people remember what the source is. Not much of either source or land is left. Imagine everyone in Provo foraging. Imagine yourself wringing the necks of chickens or grappling with bleating goats. What if, like the bumper sticker said, I truly had to hunt and gather? I would see more songbirds and reptile on my plate. Anyway, and it goes on from there, and it started, what it was it started with a trip to California, and she read about bumper sticker. But anyway, this is the best fiction that I've read in a long time. It was a really easy read. I got through it quickly. Like, I think I sat down and read it in a half an hour. But it was an enjoyable half an hour. So I would definitely recommend this book, and I would definitely recommend this to every single mother with a 10-year-old daughter who needs to learn how to make some friendship bracelets.